I was fresh out of the shower when I checked the score of Sinner versus Cerundulo, and lo and behold, I was half expecting the match to be long, completed. What I saw was Sinner trailing 4-love after having led the match 6-3, 6-2, 5-1, after he was cruising. And it seemed that the match would be a 3-2-1 and done. And then there was a drop-off, a massive drop-off. Ultimately, Sinner folded, and ultimately Sinner lost, which means Sinner squanders his opportunity to snag one of the two Grand Slams that we know Carlos Alcaraz will not be playing this summer. Now, what I am expecting to see, unfortunately, is a lot of that vindictive tennis crowd, the tribal tennis crowd, which only exists as Roger fans, Rafa fans, Djokovic fans, Sinner fans, Alcaraz fans, and they operate in opposition to each other, and whenever there's some overlap, there's almost like this subscription model that these fans perceive, where they say, oh, I'm a Sinner fan, but I like what Zverev said in this interview. Or they'll say, I'm a Rafa fan, but I like that Roger was so classy in this interview. A lot of toxicity, even something as simple as, I'm not a huge fan of Novak Djokovic, but his longevity and numbers cannot be argued with. Those same people will now have an excuse to rag on Sinner. They'll say, oh, Mr. 6 Masters in a row can't get the job done in 5-set competition. Sinner, the four-time Grand Slam champion, can't get the job done, apparently. Well, the context of Sinner's loss requires a very careful look before making such sweeping judgments. Jannik Sinner is the world number one. Jannik Sinner has won 6 straight Masters 1000 tournaments, an achievement that is unparalleled. He is the youngest player ever to complete the set of 9 Masters 1000 tournaments. He chose to play in Rome, the Masters clay tournament in Rome, as a lead-in. Before that, he had played all the Masters and won them. And he chose to give himself the chance to complete the set in his hometown, as most people probably would do. And he won that. So it paid off to that level. Then he said that he would be playing the French Open and he hopes to be rested and fresh, which he clearly was not. At least not to the level he would have hoped. I saw the final 3 games of this match, and that is all that I've seen. And he was not even able to chase down the ball that Cerundulo was offering up. Cerundulo did not blast Sinner off the court. Cerundulo, from what I saw after this run of play where Sinner has lost energy, lost the jump in his legs, Cerundulo was playing very smart. He was hitting lobs almost. I had mentioned in yesterday's Djokovic Round 2 review where there's almost like a left jab into the air from the backhand side, which allows Novak Djokovic to reposition himself and get ready for the next delivery or the next shot from the opponent. What it also does is that it breaks the rhythm of the rally. Sinner is a very, very rhythm-dependent player, especially when he is firing on all cylinders. That is one of the ways that Alcaraz had broken him. Not mentally, not physically either, just the flow of play. Alcaraz won the US Open final of 2025, after which Sinner had made this declaration that he would be willing to add some variety to his game. I'm paraphrasing for those quote monsters out there. The message was that he would be willing to even lose some matches in the interest of becoming more dynamic as a player. And Sinner has proven to be that. His serve is number 1 on the tour in terms of games that he has held. And the number of times he's lost serve, that percentage, that success rate of holding is very high, although that number might have taken a hit at the end of this match right here. I hope that all the collective camps, which unfortunately occupy the tennis watching public and especially the internet tennis community, they can at least find inside them some compassion instead of vindictiveness at the end of this match, because a lot of people will again cite his inability, Sinner's inability, to deliver in long matches, which is a stat which is witnessed to be true, which has some evidence to back that claim. And yet, to use that to kick a man when he's down is the classic playbook for these people who are looking to find something in order to continue insulting players that are not their camp. I hope that everyone can muster up some level of understanding and appreciation for what this man has accomplished. And I say that while being the same person who did not knock on Sinner and yet gave credit to Novak Djokovic for the Australian Open semi-final victory against Sinner at the semi-final. It is possible to appreciate one player without knocking the other. For example, with respect to the same match, I can say Novak Djokovic beat the defending champion at the Australian Open at the age of 38 and a half, which Djokovic was in January when he beat the 24-year-old defending champion, then world number 2, now world number 1, the holder of 4 Grand Slam tournaments, the player who is at or very, very close to his absolute peak. And he is in terms of ranking points, he is in terms of Masters 1000s, and he is in terms of momentum. And I always make it a point never to insult the player who has taken a loss while still maintaining rationality in appreciating the achievements of the other. If a player like Novak Djokovic is able to record a victory against the defending champion, against the world number 1 at the Grand Slam level at the age of 38 and a half, it does not mean that Novak Djokovic is all of a sudden better than Sinner today. It means that Novak Djokovic has the ability to do so in Grand Slam competition still. It doesn't mean he'll always do that. It doesn't mean Sinner is a lesser player as a result of this. Just like today, Sinner is no lesser of a player than he was. He is still a machine. He is still the person who has almost perfected being effective, being dangerous, being proficient with both ground strokes on either side almost equally. In the lead up to this, what I've seen on his backhand is almost unparalleled levels of comfort, depth of shot, shot tolerance, and he is capable of that. What I believe has been his enemy in this match, or in this entire phase, has been selection of when to play. Novak Djokovic, for example, Roger Federer before that, Rafael Nadal to some extent as well, they always made it a point to prioritize the Grand Slams and to peak at the right moments. Novak Djokovic is still at a pace of making 5. He's already made 5 straight Grand Slam semifinals at age 37, 38, and now 39. And he would make it 6 if he appears in the French Open semifinal in this tournament. Jannik Sinner made it to the semifinals. Jannik Sinner made it to the finals of the US Open last year. Jannik Sinner is out in the second round. And then you look at the longevity and consistency of players of the previous era. Roger Federer, 36 straight Grand Slam quarterfinals. Which means that there was a reason why their planning and why their selection and why their smartness was lauded. Similarly, Jannik Sinner has prioritized completing his Masters 1000 set. And he got rewarded for that. That achievement of 6 straight Masters tournaments, the youngest player to have all 9 of them, can never be taken away from him. This is a blip on the radar. Blip. No M. And he deserves all the credit in the world, and compassion, and respect for what he has accomplished. This is one match. And yes, at the same time, it is still true that he needs to maybe prioritize rest, recovery, and learning how to manage his body's capacity. He's 24 years old. He cannot be faulted for being bold. His body is what most people consider to be in peak condition age-wise, so biologically he has all the reason to believe that he can play those long, deep runs into the Masters tournaments, rest for a week, and then come back and deliver at the Grand Slam level. The only difference being this is best of 5 competition. None of this conversation even becomes relevant so much if Sinner serves out that match at 5-2. And then everyone stays quiet. This will only become a story because of the loss and what it means for the tournament and what it feeds into, that being that Sinner has not won a Grand Slam match or any match that has gone 4 hours or longer. I'm not sure how long this match was. I'll have a look and check if I can find that out. Either way, it will give people some ammunition to continue insulting a player of this level, which I hope does not happen, and yet inevitably I am not very, very hopeful. I mean, oh no, I am very, very hopeful. I don't expect that to come to fruition. Some class, some dignity, because that does not sell. That is not attractive to get views and to get traction. Hatred and insult will usually dominate the forums. That said, it's okay. That's one of the hooks for these people to continue watching tennis. And as long as the sport gets more views, I suppose I'm not one to complain. I just hope that Jannik Sinner can continue being as graceful as he always has been. He had the class and the maturity to return from his French Open final loss last year to Carlos Alcaraz while having had 2 match points, which he did not convert, and then continue to fight till the 5th set, where ultimately in the match tiebreak, Alcaraz prevailed by the thinnest of margins, 5 hours, 29 minutes. So this is not, as I said, I do not believe that this is just a matter of, okay, Sinner cannot deliver in long matches, because he has done that in the past without winning. And that's all that matters to people. Of course, winning is what matters, and Jannik will have to learn from this, and as I'm sure he will. And I believe that this is going to help him in the long run. This might not help him in the short run. He would have completed his set of career Grand Slam, which is still missing the French Open title, which he came agonizingly close to getting last year. So he chose one thing over the other in a way. The Masters 1000 set he chose. He also had the unique situation of doing that, coming off of 5 straight, making it 6 straight Masters 1000, and completing it at his hometown. So I don't think those unique circumstances converge like that for him again, so he prioritized that, and then he was fairly confident that this would not hurt his chances. Alas, it has. As I said, none of this happens if he just serves out that match against Cerundulo in the 3rd set 5-2, and then we were off to the races to the 3rd round. He gets more rest, and who knows, he goes on to do what he's expected to do. I also said in the previous review of, I'm doing mainly Djokovic and Sinner match reviews. I think I'll add Zverev to that, and my plan was to do Sinner, Zverev, and Djokovic matches following Djokovic from round 1 to however long, and then continuing to do Sinner and Zverev reviews from round 4 or quarterfinals onwards. My belief was that Sinner would make it at least until that point. My concerns regarding his conditioning and also just fatigue. He has played high-level tennis, also beating Alcaraz in one of those finals leading up to Roland Garros. So he has been on one of the all-time tears of being successful, and he unfortunately partially pays the price for that. As I said, I'm still very, very hopeful, and I do believe this will serve him well in the future. I think this alters his plans as well. He'll get more of a rest period before Wimbledon, so it does sharpen his chances, does enhance his chances going into Wimbledon. So it remains to be seen how he responds. I suppose this is a good lesson to take for him in learning to take care of his body. Until next time, this is Duncan Lievi. I will be covering Djokovic's match tomorrow. And all respect and honor and appreciation to Jannik Sinner, the world number 1. I look forward to seeing him at Wimbledon, and quick recovery to him from his fatigue, and hopefully a mental break will also do him well. Till next time, this is Duncan Lievi. See you soon.